Hi, I'm Michael. Welcome to Tamenuri studio. Today I will show you something extremely boring from my point of view, and most the sequence of this procedure which requires the more elbow grease in urushi and takes the most time. It's sanding and polishing of thick layers of urushi. Urushi artists, urushi craftsmen usually say that they should not be called lacquering masters, but more polishing, sanding and grinding masters, because it takes 80% of the time in the workshop. I'm not showing it very often. I think I have never showed it. But it's just usually quite boring, but during the process you will receive the best results the only actually results in some techniques like all the Tsugarunuri techniques, where you think upside down, you make a lot of layers, you spend 2 months layering different types of urushi and other material on the pan, and then through sanding you get finally the results you expect, or you don't. So today it will be a surprise. I will switch to the top camera and I will put it on time-lapse, not to bore you to death. I think it will be much more attractive, and I will come back and show you the final effect of today's work back on this camera. So see you later. And that's it for this session, because it's not the end of work on this pen. I will show you the pen before this process. It's another pen. I will be doing it later. It's black and it's almost flat, and then during the sanding you reveal the patterns which are below. Pattern on this pen is different, but the procedure is exactly the same. What will happen now? I will clean this pen and I will look for any imperfections in the surface. I will use some transparent or red or black urushi to fill them, and it will cure again for at least 2 or 3 days, as far as I can see, and it will be sanded again, but this time with much finer grit. This time I used 320 grit for the barrel and the cap, and for this section I used 800 grit because it's one step ahead. So I did what I'm going to do with the barrel and the cap before. so the section is much smoother, and it will be cured again for 1 day, probably maybe 2, and then finished, so polished with much finer grits of sandpaper. It will be polished with 1500, then 2000, 2500. Then I will switch to pastes and will polish it until I'm happy with the surface, and then we'll start the Vasuri process. So I think I will catch up with those 2 parts in 2 days or maybe 3, and we'll finish this pan in 2 weeks. So whole process from start to finished pan will take around 3 months, more or less. It could be a little bit faster because I had to skip several days, but not much faster. Minimum for building such complicated layers is 2.5 months on a pan, and it will be altogether around 60 layers of urushi and additives on the pan like this. I will now do some more pans in Tsugarunuri, but I will do it offline because repeating this process I think won't be very interesting for you. So please subscribe, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, please drop a visit on my Instagram to see this pen finished, and a little bit later this one finished too. And see you later again in my following videos. Bye!